Before I head off to my pickup point in the treacherous Cyan Mountains, I'm first going to learn about how the Tuvans survive in one of the harshest places on Earth.
Before we go hunting, Sarat's got a little tip he's going to do just to keep the cold, the worst of the cold, away from us. And what he's got here is a bowl of boar fat.
Smearing yourself with animal fat is an ancient survival technique. It will protect you against some of the worst effects of the biting wind, which can flay your skin in minutes.
I don't know how long ago this boar was killed, but I have a sneaking suspicion the smell of this is going to stay with me for quite some time. But let's see if it works and keeps the cold off my face. Tuvans will hunt, often on horseback, but also with a pack of dogs. And what Sarat's looking for are like squirrels, hares, wild boar, deer, and they use the dogs to flush them out. And these guys really are expert hunters. They know all of this ground intimately, but they're also experts at hunting very efficiently, using the least amount of energy for the maximum results.
And what that means here is tracking and setting traps for their quarry.
Sarat reckons this is going to be a good place to set some of his traps. He's seen a few tracks of what he thinks are sable, and together we'll set these.
Sable are ground-dwelling mammals, very similar to American marten. And if you know where to look, there are plenty of them here in the Siberian forests. Good for food and good for fur.
And Sarat is saying this is just the sort of place sable will like. You know, they're amongst the trees, a little bit of warmth, but also you can see this like burrow, and sable might well use that. And you see he's just set this small iron trap down there. And you see what he's doing. He's just covering it with a load of leaves and like just rotting wood, and that will mask our scent. It will also hide the trap. You know, sable are pretty wary. And Sarat, really, he will have been doing this all his life, since he was a young boy. And there are not many people I've come across who know their environment, how to survive in it and how to live off it, quite like this man does. And for me, really, it's a privilege to spend time with him like this. It's not about sport, it's about survival, it's about subsistence living. They need to catch meat and food to live off. And that looks pretty good now. You can hardly even notice there's a trap there. And how he does this without gloves on, I do not know. It's about -25 degrees here. I've just got thin gloves on and I can no longer now feel the tips of my fingers. You know, just a lifetime of being hardened to this very extreme environment. Okay, he's finished setting that now, and I'll come back tomorrow and see if he managed to get anything. Good job. Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the Tuvans have adapted to surviving here. The skills needed to live off the land have been passed down from father to son for generations. It's these same skills that Sarat has passed on to his children and grandchildren.
For 84 years old, Sarat, in my book, is a bit of an inspiration. You know, amazing, out hunting, walking, you know, long distances. Very content, very peaceful, you know, and actually amazingly fit still. Not easy conditions to do anything here. The Tuvans have been known to actually save a lot of people's lives in this valley. You know, people who found themselves lost. And Sarat was just telling me about how one night he came across a guy sitting by a river, basically freezing to death. He said he was literally like a block of ice. And he took him back to their camp, fed him, warmed him up, and basically saved his life. And the man eventually returned to the camp to thank Sarat.
I'm hoping Sarat will pass on some of his survival skills to me.
Just been asking Sarat if he's got any little tips for staying warm. And he said, look, when you've got all of this grass around, what you can do, take the snow off it and collect it, pad your jacket out. And if you get enough of it, it will trap heat between the layers. And you know, that's so simple, but actually really logical and really effective. And if you look at the clothing that Sarat's wearing, you know, got sheepskin here, all the wool inside, and you know, then look at me, I've got all this kind of, you know, fancy modern clothing. But really, at the end of the day, who's the person that's cold? Me.
Tuvan hunting parties can cover a large area of many square miles. They travel light, and to protect them overnight, they put up a shelter using whatever's lying around.
Here? Yeah? But I'm not quite sure what he's going to do, but I can bet you it's tried and tested, and I'm quite excited about seeing what he comes up with. It's really, really cold now. The sun's gone down. I thought it was cold before, but this is like a different league. So whatever he's going to build, I just want to do it quick. Get a fire going.
I've known extreme low temperatures before on Everest, but in this cold, I'm really starting to suffer.
Well, it's beginning to take shape. At the moment, though, it looks a bit drafty. And what they're doing is insulating it with all of this brushwood and then weighting that down with more of the logs. But actually, it looks quite nicely insulated now. We just keep going with it.
You've got to cover the floor to conserve body heat when you lie down. The Tuvans use dry grass as bedding.
And look, we've built up quite a nice mattress of all of this dry grass, like a foot thick, and that will give me really good insulation.
Then I'm bringing in a big log to keep a fire going through the night.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Sarat and his family are heading back to their yurt, leaving me to fend for myself.
I remember a time I was so grateful to have fire. My fingers are absolutely raining. There were times earlier on that hunt with Sarat when we were standing around laying those traps and I was so cold. You know, really, I can't remember a time where I felt so freezing. Just I couldn't feel my fingers. Even my nose and lips felt like the flesh is going solid. You can hardly move them. And it's just so nice to have a fire and have warmth. And really, this is such a security, you know. Oh. I'm actually quite looking forward to spending the night in this Tuvan shelter. It looks pretty good, and I'm hoping that I should, you know, stay at least quite well insulated in there. But we'll see in the morning. Because one thing's for certain, these Siberian nights are long. You know, 4:30 in the afternoon, the sun goes down and it's not up again till about 8:30. That's a long time to be shivering. So I'm hoping I'm going to stay warm.
This is going to be one of the longest nights I've had for a while. I feel as though someone's locked me in a deep freeze and chucked away the key. The temperature keeps dropping, and I can feel the heat just draining out of my body. In this sort of situation, people have fallen asleep and never woken up again. I am freezing cold. And I've just looked at the thermometer on the camera and have a look, see what it's reading. It's saying minus 30 degrees. And really at the moment this is just becoming an endurance exercise. Keep moving my toes and my fingers. Just trying to keep them moving. This is not fun.